Hey everyone, welcome to today's edition of One Single Story. It is Thursday. We're in Song of Solomon chapter 6. And so yesterday we talked about this misunderstanding and he leaves. But she knows where to find him in the morning. Apparently she gets back in the bed with her dusty feet. And so
Oh, that's
he
the
ain't there
worst.
and she has dusty feet.
Mm.
But she knows where to go to find him. Apparently, she knows enough about him. She's familiar with enough with his habits and his traits. That all right, I know where he's at. I know where I can go locate him. How can we know one another's habits and traits better? Like we all have them. How can we know what they are? Learn more about one another.
Just get married. You married, you have, you live with, you're gonna know each other's traits.
But don't you think there are people who are oblivious, like
Mm.
they don't pay attention to their spouse and
Well, I guess, yeah. They're just, well, they choose to be oblivious then. They choose not to. Because if you live with someone, I, you're around day in and day out. I don't know how you don't know their traits and their habits.
their
So,
wishes, their desires. I
yeah.
mean, I don't know. It seems to me like there are couples that don't know those things about one another.
Well, then again, I think they choose not to know one another.
Really?
Yeah, I
Mm.
think they just choose not to share, not to communicate. Communication is very important, as we've said. But
What kind of things? What are some processes besides just being together to learn things about people?
being together, communicating together, sharing your wishes, your dreams, your desires.
Yeah, so sometimes we have gone to dinner and we'll have a list of questions, or I'll bring some
Mhm.
questions for us to ask one another.
Mhm.
Um, have you ever asked a question and got surprised by one of my answers?
I don't, not that I can think of right this moment. Uh, I think because you continue to surprise me all the time, so nothing surprises me.
As in how? Like
So,
bad surprises, good
oh no,
surprises?
I mean just good surprises and the things that you want to you're piling on. Let's do this, let's do that.
Has there been something you learned about me that you didn't suspect? It surprised you after we were together?
These are not on my sheet for questions. I'm thinking,
No, but we're asking one question that leads to others.
I know. I'm just kidding. I don't know that I don't know you. I'm not. I can't bring out anything right now. I mean, because you've just your inability to be in one spot at one time in your mind and in your outreach is almost impossible. I mean, you pile on and pile on and pile on, and you can't survive unless you're piling it on. And you know, I think I've learned. I think that sometimes I think that with you is it happens more as the longer we're married than instead of less, you know, buying properties and going on one trip that you're on that trip, but you're processing another trip. And I'm like, I don't know.
So,
I feel like I've never, when you tell me something, it never, I don't think I think you've blown the shock factor in me,
okay.
because I think, you just, I'm just waiting for what else you're doing. I'm just wait. Okay, what we're doing now? How much more are we going to do now? So I don't know.
So, do I have any unusual traits? What's the most unusual trait I have?
Well, like I was alluding to a while ago, it's um, the inability to just be.
Do nothing.
Do nothing. The only time you can do nothing is when you're sleeping.
Yeah, that's probably why I sleep so good. Like when I put my head down,
You're constantly thinking, and I think, I don't know if this is any relating to your question, but one thing that comes to mind is like when we're traveling, you want to get to the airport in the least amount of time to be in the airport, and you want to zoom up to the curb, throw me in the suitcases out, and then you go park. And I do not like that. I want to have enough
leisurely
time,
stroll through the airport like
go
Pan
park the
Am
car,
stewardesses.
walk in, and or like go through the drive-through. I have to use the bathroom instead. Let's go in and order our food. Sometimes you have to. Let's go in, order our food, and sit down. No, let me roll you out the car. You go to the bathroom, and I'm going in. Didn't you chase me around the drive-through? That's you.
Yeah.
On vacation, I'm sitting back. People watching is like one of my favorite things. I don't think you ever watch people.
I do watch people,
You can't. I don't think you can be still and watch.
I ain't interested.
But I
in
love
people
watching
mostly.
people, and he's over in the shade. I'm in the sun. I look down. I got a text from him. Hey, here's 3 other places we're going to go next year. Or what about these 3? And I'm like, I can't do this. You lay over there and stop sending me texts. So, I think that's very unusual. That's not my trait. That's not. What's the unusual trait about me? Scratching your head. You're supposed to already thought about this.
No, I will.
So
the thing that surprised me the most, I bet you can answer this.
My anger.
Yeah, your temper.
Yeah, my temper.
Your temper. That surprised me the most because all I had known of you was quiet.
And I am until you push a button.
Yeah, and yeah. So that was the most surprising thing.
And let me be honest about that. I didn't realize that I could have a temper like that. I honestly had no idea. I've never, but
the Lord helped me sanctify.
The Lord helped him sanctify me. Yeah. So.
Well, it can't come out of you if it ain't in you.
I know, but that's what I said. Yeah. I didn't, realize that I had.
As far as an unusual trait, I don't think I could say anything that was unusual. The thing that probably over the years has irritated me the most is you moving my stuff. You alluded to that in a previous podcast. You would rather have a neat pile than a scattered pile.
Yes, 100%.
And so.
And you want scattered.
I want to be able to see it all. Yeah.
Yes.
You don't like that.
And it grows.
And so, more than one time I've come in to that. But it's not like we fight about it. I'm probably have
but
had a
you trying to roll eyes. I just don't hear or see it.
But as far as knowing you, like, I think observation, communication, and then asking questions, because there'll be times like we'll be at a game show or something with a married couple and we'll ask ourselves the question, what would you have done? So like this past year at the marriage conference, one of the questions was, does your spouse put on their socks and shoes, sock, shoe, or sock, shoe? And Alyssa said, what kind of serial killer puts on their shoes, sock, shoe? And Barbara said, it was 2 separate conversations. She said, I'm pretty sure you put yours on sock, shoe. And so how I get dressed, my shoes are not by the door. Like that's probably something. That's one of those things that tick you off, or used to. Now you just don't even say that. That's
one of those things I overlooked.
Yeah, I just don't take my shoes off, but they're all in a closet, and I got an ungodly amount of shoes.
I was just organizing them yesterday.
Yes, and when I'm getting ready, so I turn the shower on and I go get my clothes together, because it takes a few minutes for the water to get hot. And whatever shoes I'm wearing that day, and I'll throw my socks on top of them. And then I get dressed and I go in the room to put my shoes on. And so I squat down.
Yes.
I'm a squatter.
Yep.
I squat down on the floor to put my socks and shoes on. And so I put a sock and a shoe on one side and a sock and a shoe on the other side.
Yes.
And
who squats to put their shoes on?
Me. I do.
Who does that?
Me?
But you.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm sure there are. If you are, put it in the comments that you're a shoe putter on or squatter. But it was just a simple question after that. Because that's something you don't think about. And is it important to know? No, not unless you're in a game show. Probably not. But things like your favorite color, what's the favorite trip we've ever been on? I know men who don't know their wife's clothes size. Like I could go shopping for you. Like I know I have gone shopping for you.
Yeah.
I mostly know your taste. You mostly know my taste. My sizes.
And just a little hint out there for the men that don't know their women's all of these little questions. Maybe if you did know these questions, you maybe get more sex. You never know. Try it.
Right.
And, if you don't know your spouse, you should know them. You should know these things about them.
Right.
You should.
Yeah. Shoe size, pant size.
Yes. You should be able. You should know
what size, ring size.
Yes.
That's extremely important. Favorite colors.
Yeah.
I know your favorite colors, but things I like on you sometimes are different,
Right. Yeah.
And
there's sometimes I, would wear something that you would like that maybe is not my favorite, but, and same to you.
Yeah. Sometimes you wear things I don't like.
Yeah.
Occasionally. But we have a rule in our house. Don't let the other one leave the house wearing something they ought not to wear.
Yeah.
Know that they're going to be embarrassed. You should change. I don't like that shirt, and we've told each other that, and if I say I don't care, right? Now, if you say you don't care, that may not mean you don't care. It just means you don't want to give me your opinion.
It ain't too bad I'm being embarrassed to be with you. That's what that means.
You ain't embarrassed to be with me. But I would encourage you, go to dinner. There on the tables at the marriage conference this year was a whole pile of questions, which we have at our house. Take 4 or 5 to dinner with you. There are tons you can print out online. What was the favorite movie you've ever seen? What's the favorite vacation we've ever done? How do you like me to dress? I don't mean you got to be over the top, but there are preferences that I think are important that you have to know about one another that make marriage better.
Yes.
Is there anything you wish I paid more attention to where you were concerned?
Probably the only thing that, I think me pretty well, but I think the only thing that I wish you would probably pay more attention to is maybe the amount of time we spend conversating sometimes. I understand there's a lot happening, but I think maybe the one-on-one that is no distractions is probably, and it's I'm not saying it's terrible, but if there's something that I wish you would pay more attention to, would probably be that.
Well, thank you for joining us today on today's edition of One Single Story. We hope you'll be back tomorrow. I think we're going to finish up the week tomorrow in the Song of Solomon, and we look forward to seeing you then.